Welcome back to Llama Mama Kayla's Yarn Tube. I'm Kayla. Thank you for stopping by for a visit today. I'm so excited to be hanging out with you today. I hope you're having a great day. And I wanted to share with you that I finished my sweater. Yay! I actually finished it on Friday and it turned out so great. Like, as soon as I finished it, I tried it on a bunch of times along the way, but as soon as I finished it up, I put it on, and then I was just like, oh my gosh, I love this, I love this. So I took it back off, and I threw it in the dryer, and let it run for a few minutes, and when I took it out of that dryer, and put it back on, it was so soft. Oh my gosh, it was just so soft. Just throwing it in the dryer and letting it run a little bit just made it so dreamy. Like, this sweater is wonderful. It is. I will be making this pattern again. Now, I'm at the end of winter, so I doubt I'll make one like right away, because it is something you have to try on a bunch of times to make sure you're, doing it to your size. Basically, this pattern can be done to fit you no matter what size you are. If you're smaller than me, yes. If you're larger than me, yes. So it is just a wonderful pattern. It really is. Now, this pattern is on Premier Yarn's website. I will leave a link in the description box below. Anything I talk about that has a link, it'll be below. So it is called a Granny Pullover in their patterns, and I love it. It is just like a big granny hug, okay? I love this sweater. And also, my sweet friend Jennifer over at Cinnamon Stitches, for Premiere Week, on Friday of that week, she did a tutorial on making this sweater. And so I did watch her tutorial just because I watch, tutorials from Jennifer, even if I'm not making them. I still watch them because she's like me. She's real gabby and just talks about, life and her family and things that's going on and such. And so she does that even when she's doing tutorials. So I watch the tutorials so I don't miss out on what's going on in Jennifer's life. So I will leave a link to Jennifer's channel and her video below, so you can go check that out and watch her video and make your own sweater. Yes. Now, I'm at the end of winter. It's supposed to be like getting hot for us, even though yesterday morning it was like 28 degrees. The high was like, I don't know if it got up to 50 or not. It was cold in my house all day long. Today's Tuesday that I'm filming this. Tomorrow is Wednesday and it's supposed to be like 80 degrees. So I won't be wearing the sweater. Because in Louisiana, when it's 80 degrees, you may as well just say, oh, it's 100 degrees. Because it's hot, okay? I don't know if we'll have another cold snap before Easter. We usually have one around Easter. And I was thinking this was it, our last cold snap. But Easter is about 2.5 weeks away, maybe 3 weeks. I don't even know. It's a few weeks away, maybe 2 weeks away. It's the 9th of April. So there is a chance we could have a little cold snap between now and then. And I will be wearing my sweater, like, yes. I'll tell y'all this funny. So my little friend Zeke that lives a road over, he comes down, and helps me clean, and I pay him to help me do things around the house. And so he was here when I finished my sweater. Oh, let me back up and say this. So he was having a birthday party this past weekend. And a couple of weeks ago, he said, you should come to my birthday party so you could talk to people. And so I love him for that. I love him for that. So I was planning on going to his birthday party. And then he was here when I finished my sweater. And so I did a row. I think I did 2 rows of this, and then I put it on, and I went in there and I said, Zeke, how does this look? And he said, do a row of yellow. And so I went and did a row of yellow, and I put it on. I was like, okay, Zeke, do you think the neck needs another row? He's like, no, it's fine. Now, he's 12. Actually, tomorrow on Wednesday, he does turn 13. So he was here and doing some things for me as I was finishing up my sweater. And I did, let me see if I can pull this up to show you. I'm sitting on it to show you the bottom. So I did the 3 rows of this, and I put it on, and I was like, okay, Zeke, how does this look? You know, does it need to go longer? He said, no, that's perfect, just like that. And then I told him I was going to do a row of single crochet around that. And, you know, he said that'll be perfect, it'll work, you know. So I did that, and then it was finished. So I threw the whole thing into the dryer, just put my whole sweater in the dryer and let that run for a little bit. And I pulled it out and put it on. This sweater was so soft. Oh my goodness, just throwing it in the dryer like that just softened it up where it was just so dreamy feeling. I mean, and I put it on and it was just like, oh, I mean, it really was soft and was just so comfy. So I put it on and I went and I said, okay, it's finished. And so Zeke said, wear that to my birthday party so you can tell people that you made it. I love that. I love that. So I did wear it to his birthday party, and the 3 ladies that was there that I talked to were all like, did you make your sweater? And I was like, yes. But before that, before we ever got to the party, Big Daddy and I ran some errands around town that Saturday. We went to Dakota's work because we were going somewhere close by there. So we ducked in there just to see him for a minute, and yes, I got asked in there, not by Dakota. He knew. He knew I made the sweater. But another lady in there was like, did you crochet your sweater? And I said, yes, ma'am, I did. I just finished it yesterday. You know, and I told her I was glad that it was cold this weekend, so I got to wear it because I know that, you know, we're fixing to hit 100 degrees and I won't be able to wear it. And she was talking about how lovely it was. So, and we went other places. I can't even think of where all we went, but everywhere we went that day, someone either said, I love your sweater, or did you make your sweater? Did you crochet your sweater? Or, you know, people were asking me about my sweater everywhere we went. Now, hopefully they were asking because they liked it and they're like, oh, I bet she made that, you know. But I did get lots of compliments on it. So I was glad that I finished it up and got to wear it. Yes, it was fun. So I'm going to pop in some pictures right here to show you the sweater in full. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to tell you about my sleeves and the yarn I used and some different things like that, okay? Okay, so Big Daddy took some photos of me, and that's what we ended up with. Just being fun. I was being silly, and some of the silliest ones I didn't even share because I was just like, you know, doing all kinds of little poses and things like that. And he was acting like he was a photographer, but he really don't take the best of photos. But we made it work. We made it work. So the yarns I used on this, I used a black Premier Basic for my sweater. And I was planning on using a Premier yarn for my sleeves, but then I realized I probably don't have enough to do the sleeves because I wanted to do long sleeves and a little bit around the neck and a little bit around the bottom of it. So I came into my yarn room, my magical room here, and I looked around and found some yarns that I would have loved to use in this. I found three yarns. And so I made a video sharing with you guys, and I showed those 3 yarns, and you guys voted on what yarn I should use. And the Red Heart Super Saver Stripe Fruity Stripes is what it's called. Won like by a landslide. Everybody thought this would be pretty. Lots of people picked this because it had that bright yellow, and you know yellow is my favorite color, so I thought this would be, you know, very poppy. I thought it would pop against this black is what I was thinking anyway, but I thought the other colors would look good too. Like I think I had retro and parrot. I think that's the other two colors I had. I think both of those would have been gorgeous with this black also, but I'm gonna tell you, I love this fruity stripe with the black. So this yarn won. Y'all were voting while I was adding my sides and my neck part, and so once I got that together and I single crocheted my 2 panels together except leaving my armhole, it was like, okay, let's see what yarn won. And it was fruity stripes, and I was excited, which I'd have been excited for any of the 3, but I got my fruity stripes and I got busy making my arms. Okay, so what I did first was I made an arm, and I was thinking the sweater's going to be big, kind of bulky, just a comfy sweater, you know, kind of just a comfortable sweater. And I knew I wanted my sleeves long because I used to be super, super hot-natured and could not stand sleeves. I mean, even today, in the wintertime, I wear short sleeves because I don't really have long sleeve clothes, okay? If I'm cool, I put on a wrap or a sweater, like a cardigan type sweater. So the sleeves were really long, and it was just, you know, a bell sleeve. And it did not look cute. Not at all. It was not cute. It looked like the sweater is way too big, you know. I mean, it is big and kind of bulky, you know. I don't know if I should say bulky, but it's big and comfy. It's not bulky as in it's like uncomfortable. It's bulky as in it's like cozy, okay? But the sweater, the sleeve of that with a big bell sleeve and everything, it was not cute. It looked like that sweater is way too big for her, which that is a new thing for me. Normally things look like, oh, she barely got into that, or it looked like, you know, I've never had clothes to like just swallow me before, but this sweater does kind of swallow me. And with the bell sleeve, it looked even worse, okay? It just did not look cute at all. Recently, I have dropped a lot of weight because of my chronic illness, and I've dropped a lot of weight fast, which is not healthy, but that's just the way it's happened with my illnesses. And so having things too big is kind of a new thing for me, okay? just saying. Anyway, I didn't like the sleeve, and so I was trying to decide what to do with the sleeve, and I was like wasting time trying to think about the sleeve. So I decided, okay, while I'm thinking about that, I'm gonna go ahead and start working on this, because I knew, you know, I gotta do a granny square all the way around to begin with. So I came back and I worked the other sleeve. I don't know which one was first, but let's just say this was the second one. First off, I did have to put 2 extra granny clusters in there somewhere to match up with the number of granny clusters that I had on this first row around. So I just had to kind of fudge it to make it work there. And it worked out fine. You can't even tell that I had to do that. It's fine. So I did that and I started working. Now, as I was going down the sleeve, I was doing my granny clusters, a chain 1, and a granny cluster. And I did that down till about row 8. On row 8, I stopped putting a single crochet in between the clusters, and so I was just doing cluster, cluster, cluster instead of cluster, single crochet, cluster. So I did that for rows 8, 9, and 10. I have my notes here, so I was make sure I did the same exact thing on this sleeve as I did on this sleeve. So for rows 8, 9, 10, and 11, I did not put a chain between the clusters. And so I was trying it on, you know, to see where that was hitting on my arm. And so then on row 12, I decided to decrease. And I did do a little video about decreasing a granny square. I didn't really know how to do that. I just kind of made it up. And you can't even tell. You can't see it. You cannot see where I did a decrease. It just blends right in. So on row 12, I did a decrease. I still did not chain one between the granny clusters. And then on row 13, I just did a regular row without chain ones, just granny clusters. And then on row 14, I did another decrease. And then on 15, I did another regular row of just granny clusters, no chains. And it was coming down to about right here. So I thought, okay, if I'm going to put any kind of cuff on there, I better stop, because that's getting, you know, kind of close to my wrist. So I stopped there, and then I still had this big bale of a sleeve, right? So I didn't know that this was going to work out or anything. I was totally just trying it, because in crochet, you can try things, you can rip it out and try again. You can do that all day long. So that was my plan, to do that. So I did a single crochet, decrease, single crochet all the way around. I just, you know, single crochet, decrease, single crochet, decrease, all the way around. Well, that ended me up with 39 stitches, and it still looked kind of big. And so I put it on, and I was kind of pinching it around my arm, you know, and I was like, if I get rid of 5 stitches, I think it would fit a little better and not be so big. So I took it back off, and I just laid it out there, and I knew I wanted to decrease 5 times. So I just put, I had a stitch marker in there where I started it, you know, my last of the last round, that stitch. So I didn't really count. I didn't count. I just put a stitch marker here, a stitch marker, and I spaced them out where it kind of looked evenly without counting stitches. I just knew that I needed to decrease 5 times. So that's what I did. I single crocheted around there and decreased 5 times. And then I put my arm back in it, and then I was like, okay, that fits, you know, better. It's not tight, but it's not like gaping big either. So that's what I did. And then I did a row of double crochets all the way around. And then I put it on, and I'm looking, you know, and I'm like, okay, I like that. And so then I did a row of, I did 5 rows of front post double crochet and back post double crochets to give it that cuffed look. So I did that 5 times and tried it on, and it was perfect. I mean, it's perfect. I could not have planned that to be any better. Now, I was trying it on along the way, so I kind of, you know, customed it to fit my arm, but it worked out perfect, which I was kind of surprised. It could have been a disaster, but it worked out. But I was determined to keep redoing it until it did fit my satisfaction. So then I came back to this arm, and I ripped it out all the way to row 7. And I started that row 8 where I left out the chain spaces and just carried on and did the same exact thing over here. And it turned out wonderful. So I love it. And so I ended up using, I had 2 skeins of this. I mean, I have had more skeins, but I used 2 skeins in this with the color. and had this left over. Now, I did not color control, but my sleeves turned out kind of the same. That was not planned. Actually, I did not want them to be the same. I wanted them to be different. But they turned out pretty much the same. I'm not sure. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then it starts that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's kind of a row off of the color change there, but it looks pretty much the same. I mean, unless you count rows, you don't know. But that was not my plan. My plan was for it to be fun and not match, but yet match because it's the same colors, but it turned out great. So that's what I did on my sleeves. Jennifer did her sleeves different. She wanted hers elbow length because she is hot-natured, and I totally get that. That would have been me a few years ago, and I don't know, I'm probably about 10 years older than Cinnamon, so 10 years from now she might be trying to add some sleeves onto that. Who knows? But I knew that I wanted mine long sleeve, and she did her short sleeve. So that's two different sleeve options there for you. But you know, if you decide to make the sweater, you can do it any way you want to. Customize it to fit you. But anyway, I love this sweater. I know that I will be making this sweater again. I'm probably going this summer. I'm probably just going to go ahead and make my two big granny squares, one for the front, one for the back. Make my flaps that go on each side of the granny square and that, and then just not sew it together until the weather starts cooling off in the fall, because I'm going to have to try it on a bunch of times, and I'm not about doing that when it's 100 degrees. So I might just make up all the components, I mean not the sleeves, but the front and back panels, and not sew them together yet until it gets cool enough to start trying it on. So yeah, but you will see me making another one of these sweaters in the future. But I love it. I love this sweater. I love how it turned out, and it's just fun. It's fun, and I'm going to wear it again. I think it's going to rain, and the temps might drop a little bit later in the week. So I will wear it if the temps drop. Okay, between now and summer, anytime the temperature drops, I'm going to have the sweater on, okay? I will have the sweater on if the temps drop and it's cool enough. But I wish I had made the sweater like earlier in the winter so I could have been wearing it all alone. I do have a little black tank top on under it, and I know you can see, there's holes you can see, and so when we were at that party, it was outside, and it was cold, and Big Daddy said, "Aren't you cold?" He said, "You need a better shirt on under there," and I said, "No, really, I'm not cold, it's fine." Even though it does have these holes, it was still warm, but if you live somewhere where it's super, super cold, like way up north where you have a lot of snow, you know, you can wear a better shirt up under it. I'm just wearing this tank top just because, yeah, I needed something under it. But it was not cold for me to be wearing it outside when it was so cold. It was fine. But yes, I love it. And I can't wait to make more of these in fun colors. I'll probably make the next one in like variegated or something, just because I like variegated. I like fun colors and colors that pop and bright colors. So I'm a bright girl. I'm not dull. And anyway, guys, if you have made a sweater, let me know below. Or if you've made other sweaters, let me know, below what sweaters and patterns you have made. I definitely want to make more in the future for next winter. And like I said, I might make components but not put them together and stuff like that until it cools off, and not just this sweater but other sweaters also. So yeah, anyway, guys, Okay, so I'm going to let you all get going, and I will see you again in the next video, friends. Love you all. Bye.